we have with us Hajia Samira, who is going to be leading this session. And so you see some of us are in the background. You can send in your questions if you want to send them privately. We have the team, the SRC team. We have, I'm there, we have Eno is there, and Bosse is also there as co-host, all right? So if you want to send questions privately so that we don't miss them in the chat area, please go ahead. One more reminder, please, when you come in, when you join the session, now that we're recording, please make sure that you are muted. If we have to keep reminding you or muting you, we'll just take you out. And once you're taken out, you might not be able to come back in, all right? This recording will be available. We would decide whether we're going to send it to you directly or have it on the websites for others to access and purchase. So please do enjoy and make sure you are listening intently. So it's a great pleasure for me to hand over and invite for the first session to lead our session on future-proofing education, preparing the Nigerian child for the future workspace. Please join me and make welcome Hajia Samira Jibiru. You can put some emojis in the chat area. She'll introduce herself some more, and let's get ready to learn and enjoy. Thank you so much. Hajia Samira, over to you.
Hi, MM.
Good morning.
It's a great pleasure meeting here again.
Thank you.
I'm Samira Jibiru, like MM has said, Glisten International Academy, CE. I want to seize this opportunity to really appreciate Madam MM Opashi and her team for what they are doing in education sphere. I know I don't have this time, but I must say it. You can't deny me of that. Because you are really helping us to equip ourselves as educators, because we can't give what we don't have.
Yes, ma'am.
And when this thing came up, and we feel that there is need for others to share, you took it wholeheartedly, and you are doing it free because it's what you get money for. I can't thank you enough on behalf of all the educators that are here today, and those that have the interest to be here because of one thing or the other are not being here, and those that will also benefit from whatever we are starting today. Thank you very much, SCR and your team.
So much, thank you very much.
Yes. Today, like MMA said, what I'll be sharing and looking at with you people, dear educators, you are welcome. Good afternoon. What I'm sharing today is future-proofing education, preparing the Nigerian child for future workspace. I'd like to ask for two questions. Have we ever wondered why the Nigerian child excels in other climes? Have we? I'm sure we have several times. Do we assess the second one, the education standards with the present day life and work demands and how our children are wired today? I think if we have been having this type of thoughts or question unanswered or partly answered, this is the forum where we ought to do justice to this. If we're going to maximize future-proof education, we need to maximize educational opportunities with the right mindset and insight. Whether we accept it or not, which I know all of us know, that the present day and future work is clearly defined and determined by technology. If not for technology, we wouldn't be here doing this today. So therefore, let's look at what education looked like before. What was the demand? In the 19th century, it's just about literacy. Conservatism, literacy, read the Bible. That is the Western education. And be able to speak and translate whatever the colonial masters were saying, and so on and so forth. It wasn't beyond that. Progressively, when the European, the colonialists feel that we need to industrialize, not Africa, but for their own benefits. They started looking at education in the purview of industrialization and professionalism, a little bit of professionalism. The end of the 20th century got us seeing professionalism in the areas of medicine, law, engineering, and so on and so forth. And that time we started taking over. But today, 21st century, there is a great shift in the paradigm. Great shift. The world is digital. Before, it's always said the world is a global village. I heard somebody said at one webinar that I attended that it's not a global bedroom. Whatever you are doing in your bedroom can be known globally. Therefore, if we recall what happened when COVID-19 came in 2020, all of us had to start reimagining, resetting, rebottling all our educational system strategies and how we learn and how we teach using digital devices. For some schools that have been at it, it seems seamless. For those that were trying to go in, they struggled. And for those that could not, learning did not take place. Teaching did not take place. Automatically, education was grounded for those children and those schools. Now, if we are aware of this, that whether we like it or not, we need to use technology to teach, to learn. It means we should start looking at things in different ways. The 21st century learning and what it encompasses. One, it de-emphasizes knowledge for examination purposes. That's what it should. Some of us still do it up to now. Just pass exams. And that's why we have a lot of exam malpractices. On the media, since yesterday, I don't know, maybe some of you have seen it, a man dressing like a woman to take the exams for his spouse. Those that we write on the dress and so on and so forth. And that is why when you see beautiful certificates, beautifully graded certificates, when you're calling, most of you are administrators here, when you're calling for interview for employment, when you call for 40, hardly can you get 5 good ones, despite those beautiful certificates. We are not driving up standards, like somebody said. So we should, as educators, ensure that education is for life and for living. How do we do that? We have to ensure that whatever content, whatever curriculum we are driving must have critical thinking analysis, must create problem troubleshooting and solving, must develop transferable skills, develop deeper and higher order thinking skills. That is reasoning, assessing and accurately, critically analyzing whatever information we have. Again, we must create applied learning programs, which will include and enhance curiosity, the why and the why not. Basically, not about the what. Exams test the what, basically. There are some exams that really test applied, but most of our exams test what. Again, we must be able to include element of emotional intelligence. You see people with excellent results. How do they manage life with others or in different circumstances, in different situations? The 4 C's are quite important. And if we must, that is critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, innovation, and communication. Creativity is innovation anyway. Today's word is word of automation. And we all agree that automation has helped us in several ways. Broken down the bureaucratic boots. All those things that had to be done manually, the checks and balances, the errors, seamless with automation in all sphere of life. Transport, you have Uber now, you can easily call Uber. Your airport, anything you're going, you can do those online. The e-commerce, Amazon, banking, the online sales, and so many other platforms that you have. Communication, what we are doing now in the comfort of our offices, homes, wherever. We're teleconferencing, we're learning. Healthcare, inclusive, energy, and so many. What it means then is that the robots are here, not that they are coming. I'm sure most of you have seen the robot at the UN with our Nigerian representative, Adi Amina. You saw that robot and so many others. This is the exponential point in our world today. And all of us as educators, we must key in. We can't be left behind. And that is why it is important that artificial intelligence and electronic machine learning included in what we do in our schools, in our curriculum. I'd like to stop there. Thank you. I'm sure the other speakers will lend credence to, mine is to show the basis why we need to do what we are doing today and what we have to do in our schools. I want to thank you for being here and wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ajia Samira. In fact, I've taken down so many notes here, and I'm sure we've all learned a lot from there. Before I now call in the next speaker, I want to ask us for to just be sure that some of us have been listening. She mentioned the last part. She mentioned the 4 C's. I want to see who's going to type those 4 C's in the chat area. And while I get ready to introduce and bring up our next speaker, let me see the first person to do all 4 of them. I can't give you a sticker from where I am, but we'll just give you a shout out. So unless, okay, Hannah's just put 1, or she's putting them one by one. Let's see if anybody will beat her to it. The 4 C's, just to be sure you all are listening. I know some of you may be, driving, cooking, pounding yam, making amala. You could be doing anything while you're watching this. That's the beauty of technology. Oh, this person, well done. Yeah, the first person. Let me scroll back to that. I think, Victor, is that you? You got you got all 4, but someone added the innovation. So even though it's not a C, but it's also mentioned there. So Oloniluyi, also well done. Well done, everyone, and thank you so much, Ajay Samira. God bless you. I'm just enjoying this topic already, and dreaming of robots walking around us. Okay, so
thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So we're going to be bringing up our next speaker, and he's going to be talking about learning spaces. So this sounds really practical to me, and it says learning spaces in makerspace. What is makerspace? I'm looking forward to, what could makerspace be? And our next speaker is Engineer Abba Saidu. Abba.
Yes, can you hear me?
Hey, Abba's here. Welcome and good morning.
Hi,
Yeah.
hi, ma'am. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. And we'll be chatting.
Am I allowed to share my screen?
Yes, please. Let me just make you. I'll just do that now. And oh yeah, I just am sharing already. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I am really happy to be in your mix today. It's an opportunity for me to share a little bit of what we do, especially at Glisten International Academy. So, learning spaces and maker spaces. I happen, from what you heard, my name is Abba Said. I happen to be a civil engineer and a project engineer, and I happen to be working in the school, and I'm really passionate about working in the school. There's no other place I'd rather be working at, especially a school. And from my experiences working in as an engineer, I know over time things changes and buildings changes, and we know that there are quite a number of flaws with our buildings, owing from the unavailability of wheelchairs, because we really weren't taught all these things. There weren't emphasis on all these things, and as such, it makes the discussion about inclusion, especially if you want to be an inclusive school. You walk into buildings, you see common things like wheelchairs, ramp not being available, and so much more. And that's why we really need to link, really rethink our learning spaces, where our students learn, where we are comfortable learning. And if you're working in a school, I feel you're in a learning environment yourself, even if you're as a teacher and all. So from these flaws, we're so passionate about seeing how we can promote learning, especially. And so the environment people learn is really critical. And that's why we really need to explore these spaces, and especially in the 21st century, where we have technology, a mixture of pedagogy. By the time you begin to explore all this, you see that nothing really fits if you're going to be using the old design principles. And as such, we really need to see there's a need for us to consciously design spaces that will stimulate more robust collaboration, better enhance communication skills, and in fact elicit higher order thinking in the bid to make to solve all these challenges that I mentioned about the flaws of design principles. So, and that's why we start. So what is makerspace? Well, makerspace, for some call it hackerspace. It used to be called hackerspace, but I think it's a lighter note because I think it had a little bit of a wrong footing, and that's why most people prefer to call it a makerspace. As a school, we really stumbled upon makerspace. One time we traveled to Hong Kong, 21st Century Learning Conference, and we were really excited, and we jumped straight at it. And we know that makerspace is just a movement that seeks to promote new ways of learning for students, for them to be successful. The whole idea is just to improve collaborative ideas. You just need a space that would integrate technology, especially in classrooms, and how students learn. So basically, a makerspace is just a collaborative learning environment space where learning happens as such. So at our school, we have quite a number of various makerspace activities and what we do. So I know time might not really be on our side, and but I'll be willing to share quite a number of things later on. Anybody that needs any more details, we should be able to help. So, and in our makerspace, we're able to make connections, because when you ask why makerspace, you see. Can you still hear me? Am I audible?
Yes. Yes, you are.
Okay. Okay. So making the connections in makerspace is, it's quite important that students develop independent. They learn. They're free to learn. Because in makerspaces, there's no compulsion. You don't make students create quite a number of things, and that's where they make the connections. And when they're in these spaces, they learn independently. They develop their independence, and they begin to grow mindsets by trying, and try again. And these mistakes are done, especially in makerspaces. They're done in a safe environment, without having to really bother yourself about, oh, I'm missing this grade, or I'm getting a low grade on this assignment. Or it gives children, students, especially these days, that yearn to want to come back again and do more. So, and And most of all, it solves, it simulates real life situations, because it's a problem solving. It starts with problem finding and problem solving. And just like what we've been able to achieve as a school with the MirrorBot that you've seen, we try to simulate real life situations. And this is just a tip of what you can get in a makerspace, because the possibilities are endless with the makerspace, because you have to do the robotics, AI, sensories, quite a number of things. And the best, more connections, that you have to achieve, is you allow students own their own creativity, which is really important, because they are bringing their real design thinking, their imagination into real life, and inevitably they find new knowledge. Because when you go on to do quite a number of things, you begin to find new knowledge, and you begin to prosper. So how do you get started with makerspace? I don't want to really spend too much time, but I think you should create a budget list for makerspace, because honestly, getting it could get really expensive. But I think you can start with little tips, with the little you can. Not with much planning. I think you should be able to get started with. And you should also assess the spaces in your school, and you get everyone involved, your students, your parents, your teachers. I think it would be a very good start, because that's how we started. We had to plan. We got our students' involvement, we got our teachers' involvement sometimes, and even our parents' involvement. So we were able to create spaces. And by the way, I have ideas of creating spaces in various spaces, because for me, as someone that works in the built environment, I see spaces, corners as learning spaces, because some of the teachers, some of the beautiful minds teachers that we have, you can see how they create the walls that they create in their walls, really change the dimension of how we think about a space, and how it invokes reasoning and make students want to learn more. So also, I think you should start with a school-wide design challenge, like gamification. When you engage students in a fun approach, it becomes really exciting for them. That sense of competition kicks in, and you want to see students try. And believe me, they will come up with amazing things. So why don't you just give it a try? I think lastly, you need to just incorporate makerspace into classroom activity. Classroom activities such as project-based learning or project-based inquiry, like when they give them assignments, you could form them into groups. We have a policy at Glisten that we allow, or we do project-based learning. They have to work in groups. And life is like that. There's no single person that succeeded in life without having to work in groups. So there are basic limitations. The basic limitations you have with the makerspaces, mostly in terms of having to create spaces is really challenging. It could be a challenging ordeal for schools, especially with the way things are. But if you're lucky enough, you can really create a space that would make me meaningful after assessing. And as much as possible, I think some people could cordon off part of a classroom. They could use part of some schools use part of the library. In fact, I once saw a beautiful library with our CE, and I think it's a dream that we're willing to achieve, because the library shouldn't be boring for students these days. You can have a quiet area, you can play without having to disturb everyone. So. And also you could use digital maker spaces that are basically for collaborations. There are lots of online activities that you platform spaces that you can enact or foster or begin to create opportunities for students to collaborate in school and out of school, especially with the online and digital platforms. And we've seen some schools abroad use old school buses or containers. So why not? So we'll be more than willing to help if you still need help in those areas. Time actually, availability of time actually is really crucial, especially at the secondary school. At the primary school level, you can tweak the curriculum and you can work around activities because there's no target to meet standardized tests. But really, if I would say, we know that facing at the secondary section, secondary school level, we've had quite a number of challenges, especially with trying to see everyone gets its one activities, because time is really a challenge, especially at the secondary section. So I think what we're able to do is to incorporate makerspaces activities in our classrooms and based on our project-based learning. And I think it's really coming with a good headway. So other challenges, as I mentioned before, it's quite expensive. You must start with just your basic things, no need to bring in, and you can start with bringing in old stuffs like use electronics, gadgets that have not been used. Like in the case of MeRobot, we didn't buy a single thing. It will surprise you. It's all the things we had in our maker spaces and what we had from home, the joy pads from the VR sets from some of our students' home. So, and it was really amazing. So it will surprise you what you can do with even an old clipper. The motors in an old clipper could do quite a number of things. So, and the tools we basically use, there are quite a number of things. They are not limited. And the way I see maker spaces as learning spaces are spaces where you can really get in some tools in a safe environment. There are those that really need caution and adult to really take care. And I think as a school, we were able to get some of these 3D printers, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other schools have 3D printers. So there's a conflict between STEM, or what you call it, STEM and maker spaces. So to me personally, I feel they're all the same. It's just the way how you approach it, how you approach these things. So as a school, we're able to get some of this printing machines like the laser cutters, 3D machines, drones, the little bits that you can have, scrap, old computers, textile, and other supplies, things that you can do. One of the things that really helped us get an understanding, especially in the aspect of robotics, was the Lego and the Vex Robotics. And there are quite a number of robotic companies selling their products. And to tell you the truth, there's no one that really supersedes the other. It's just the way you think about it. It's just like what you can have a 3D printer and you print a box. So it's the way you think about it, and you can have a 3D printer and build parts of a drone. It's what you think that it does. So, and I think that's really one of the crucial things about getting started and getting the right tools for you to get started. And I think that's really important. So basically, you just need to create your own plan, get your top management buy-in, use the school-wide approach, start with a design game challenge. By the way, design thinking is an aspect that we really think very big in Glisten, but I think it's a topic for another day. And it's really important that we really find time to understand, okay, what design thinking is and how it can really approach, how it can really help the school. And you can as well enter your school into competitions. You start by learning. I know we've seen some of the competitions with some of our schools here in Abuja and Lagos. We've competed in robotics, and I think that really gives us an idea of, okay, how we can really go about the activities we do. So it's quite important you get into these competitions, and as a school, we have an avenue to bring in more people, especially in the aspect of the Vex Robotics. When talks with people in Europe, and they're really they're willing to see how we can get more people on board. And I think it's a very good platform, the Vex Robotics. So you might as well join with. You feel free to contact us. I believe the next speaker will be talking a little bit about it. So I think I'm done. Let's see if we have other further questions. I think or later on I could respond to more of your responses, but these are where you can reach me. Thank you very much. And it was really a delight for me to be in your mix today. Thank you.
Excellent. Woo. Thank you so much. I'm actually like, I'm here like getting so excited because I don't know why, for some reason, I want to learn so much about robotics and I find it very overwhelming, but this has been one of the simplest and, most practical, explanations that I've heard, and is making me, and I'm sure many of us think that way also. So for the rest of us, we're going to have the opportunity to ask questions. We're going to have, at the end of it, we're allocating a decent amount of time. So if you have questions, you can start to prepare them, write them down, and take note so that we can ask for that. And I love the fact that they have also offered to come into your schools, assess your spaces to support you in what it is that you're doing. Okay, so thank you so much, Abba. Thank you very much for this. It's actually been exciting already. So we have, I think today is so rich. We actually have 5 people speaking on this. I mean, such huge value. It's just amazing. So we're going to be inviting our third guest, and I think we're getting very practical here. We're getting a bit practical. This session it's on getting started with robotics. And so Abba has already given us like some expo to an extent on that. And we're going to be looking at getting started with robotics. So a very short session. So what you're getting here is like little taster. You're getting like the small chops of the big meal. And then by the time we're done with this, we would plan for a practical session where we're doing this practically in a physical location. Sorry. Please don't forget, when you come and don't forget to mute yourselves. Okay, when you come and mute yourselves, if we have to mute you more than once or twice, I'm going to just take you out politely, very nicely. I'll just take you out and you might not be able to join back. Okay, so please make sure you're muted. All right, so we have, yeah, so let me save that question so that we can ask that. I would save that somewhere. I saw a question from someone asking how much. So save that so that at the end we can now compile all the questions, all right? So thank you very much. So Coach David Adeni, I hope you're getting set, made you co-host. So please join me and make welcome Coach David Adeni. You're going to be taking the short session on getting started with robotics. And we're really getting into it now. We're getting into it. Then we have 2 more speakers after that. We have the time for questions and then your own comments from there, all right? So David, over to you. And you can be checking the chat area in case we want to send you any messages also, okay? So welcome.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to be here with all of you. Thank you so much for allowing us do this. Well, I'm going to start with sharing my PowerPoint screen. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Can you see my PowerPoint screen? Hello?
Yes, we can, yes.
Okay, I'm just going to keep it simple and brief, and I'm going to try as much as possible to just go straight to the point. That's why you can see that my PowerPoint is not really that complicated. And I'm going to start getting started. I'm going to be talking on getting started with robotics, and all talking about is here already. And in order for us to keep pace with it, we need to start learning 21st century skills in our schools. Robotics is the future of automated world, and as such, it should be seen as an integral part of the conventional education. It is very important that we start empowering students and preparing them for future workspace. So just like the Western world, they've gone so far ahead of us, but we can do the same if we start now. All right, the honest truth about this is getting started with robotics in schools is never an easy one because robotics is capital intensive, and that is what usually scares most school owners that are actually interested in it away. But I'm here to tell you that the solution is here. You don't have to have that huge financial capital base for you to get started with the robotics. You can get started with the basics and still derive a lot of joy from whatever you are doing. So let's look at this. How important is robotics to you as a school owner? The time and space you have created for robotics to fly depends on how important robotics education is to you as a school owner. All you need for a start is to make a space for robotics on your school timetable. You can run it as a club, or you can maybe add it to your curriculum and run it as a normal conventional subject that people do in the class. But for a start, I advise that you run it as a club, because for now you're going to need just, for a start, just a handful of students, and you don't need too many of them, because some of them are just coming in to distract the whole system. Some of them are not interested. Robotics is all about interest. So for a start, you need to start with maybe having it as a club and society in your school, and you select only students that are interested. Maybe subsequently you can add more students based on interest. So the second thing you do, I'm just trying to take it step by step now. The second thing you do now is get coaches. Make a choice of coach from your ICT department or any IT savvy individual with keen interest and self-motivation. There should be caregivers who will be trained to be robotic coaches. They will be equipped with the capabilities to start and sustain the program. You don't force people into becoming robotic coaches. It takes interest and commitment for somebody. Sometimes we even advise, we look for people that volunteer so that you don't force them, because it's not easy. And the coaches that you actually want to be caregivers are going to be IT survey coaches, and will have the capability, because robotics has to do with figures and coding, mathematics and stuff like, so it's not really that easy. So the next step here is the follow-up. After the training, that's the forthcoming training, the physical training that we're going to be getting involved with. We will handhold these instructors and provide them with the necessary resources in artificial intelligence, electronics, and machine learning. Get all the necessary support and check on them promptly.
David, can't hear you again. Okay, hopefully we're able to get you back in soon. Hi, David, your audio's, there's no audio again. In case you're, can you help me check that, please? And then. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm just trying to read some of the things he has on the screen. And so I think one part that I think that I'm liking the sound of most of what we're talking about is that it's not actually as expensive. Yeah, don't worry, we all can't hear him. We can't hear him. So we're gonna check, we're checking behind the scenes to see that he's okay. And then he would probably join us soon. So maybe the network has thrown him out. Let's see. Okay, so David, hopefully you're able to join us back soon. And while we're waiting on
I'm
that,
trying to get somebody who is closer to him.
okay, to find out how he is. Okay, okay, he's I've seen him back in, but his audio hasn't come back yet.
He's back? Okay.
It's come back in, yeah. So, okay, David, when you're ready, you can continue. Your audio is not ready yet. You're muted. So.
Hello? What is wrong with you guys? His audio, we can't hear him.
He's back, but it's yeah, we'll decide about what we're going to be able to give. This is being recorded. We will decide whether we're going to send it to everyone who registered for free or not. We probably might just have it on the website for a token also, because this is some huge value that you're getting also. if he decides to give the PowerPoint, yes, don't forget that these are resources that people create. So not everyone wants to, give up their PowerPoint slides. That's why you have this session. If he wants to do that, then that's fair enough. We would let you know. If not, you would just get the recording and all that. Yes, we are planning an in-person training. It will be on the calendar at some stage. No, you will not get a certificate for this. This is not a certificate course. This is a free information, value-driven, session where we're trying to give you information to help you start and make that decision. So no, you will not be getting your certificate for this course.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Welcome back, David. Great to have you back. Okay.
I'm so sorry. Network actually kicked me out. I really apologize for this. Sorry about that.
No problem. Welcome. Okay, over to you
All
again.
right.
Okay.
Okay. Let me continue with my screen. Okay. Let me see. All right, I think my slide is actually failing to come up, but I'm just going to go ahead with this. So I was actually on following up with the training, just like I've said earlier. After the training, we will handhold these instructors and provide them with the necessary resources in artificial intelligence, electronics, and machine learning. We will also make sure they get all the necessary support and check on them promptly until they are able to thrive on their own. Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you
Okay.
very well. Yes, we can hear you very well. If you
Okay.
want to try,
Alright.
try putting up the slide again, you can try it at the back end. If
Yeah.
you can.
Okay, I'm going to try it again, but I think it's
Okay.
a bit difficult
Yeah,
for
if not, you can
slide to
just
come up.
continue.
Let me just go on.
Okay.
All right.
Just go on.
Okay.
We will share the slide
Alright.
with SRC later.
Okay,
Okay. All right. We will also link them up for robotic certifications, and this will further strengthen their capabilities and pave ways for opportunities. We'll link them up to various robotic platform sites where they can get certified and gain more experience on their own, and provide a lot of links for them where they can self-train themselves and become instructors, and even well-recognized instructors by these robotics companies. All right, let's get started with the workstation. This is where you need to pay attention. Everything that I've been saying, they are very important because this is just a blueprint provided for you for this particular training. So if you follow this guide, it will work perfectly for you. Your workstation should be your computer laboratory. We know you're starting small, so we're not going to tell you to, okay, get a space for robotics, but your computer laboratory is just perfect for you to get started with. This space is very important because the computers are in there and we need the computers. You can't separate computers from robotics. So robotics cannot work without computer devices, which enables coaches and students to code and program hardware, and work on installed robotic piece of software, because most of the robotic piece of software that will be sending to you needs to be installed on these computers. And the computers, it doesn't really matter how many computers you have in your computer laboratory. What really matters is the specification of these computers. Computers must be at least 2 GB RAM with high processing speed. This will enable you run robotics softwares without glitches. But you can have more than that anyway, but the least that these robotic applications can take is 2 GB computer system. It could be laptop, it could be desktop, but that is how it works. Then how to get this piece of robotic software. This is the most amazing aspect of this whole training. We will provide you with links to purchase licensed robotics simulators from the companies without a third party. What I'm trying to say in a nutshell is we will link you up with these companies involved in the creation of these simulators. You don't have to go through maybe a third party, and it's going to be cheaper when you go through them directly. And simulators are actually virtual workstations that enable students to design, build, and program robots to move and execute tasks in a virtual environment. And robotics, actually, the good thing about simulators is the fact that they allow a handful of students to get involved in the robotic activities, because we know purchasing hardware for it to go around for all the students in that particular club will be very expensive. So with simulators, as long as you've installed them on your systems, students can get their hands involved, design whatever they want to do on a virtual environment, and program their robot in a virtual environment. So all you need is, I mean, the hardware is not really that key here until when they start, you understand, manifesting their experiences in real life. That's when you need to, okay, talk about maybe getting hardware. So for now, getting started, you don't really need that much hardware. You can use simulators. It will do the same thing. So we will also provide you with free perpetual license programming software. When I mean perpetual, I mean lifetime license softwares. It doesn't have a timeline, no expiration. We're going to give you that for free. So we will also link your students up for free international online robotics events that can earn your school recognition, and free robotics piece of software applications. What most of these robotic companies do is when you get involved in doing most of their events, when they recognize you, they provide you with free licenses for you to do some other robotic activities and stuff. So those are the kind of things you are going to get when you work with them. So now let's talk about the hardware. I'm not actually kicking out hardware completely, but you still need to purchase some hardware, low-cost hardware, like starter kits for the students, so that when they are done with some of the programming design and coding on a virtual environment using those simulators, a handful of them, those ones that you feel that they are very experienced, that have gone ahead of others, you can give them the hardware for them to do real life practical demonstration and stuff like that. So we recommend you procure at least 4 to 5 hardware resources. That's a starter kit. The hardware are usually a starter kit with robotic peripherals like motors, sensors, cables, servos, drivers, driver steels, and plastics. Any starter kit that you buy comes with a brain, robot's brain, and most of all these peripherals, no matter how cheap it is. So we can just get started with the cheapest starter kits for hardware. So, and they won't be more than your budget. I promise you that. Then let's talk about the next phase. After doing all this, after you must have been stabilized doing robotics, you need to get connected to the international community, and that is where competition comes in. Getting involved in robotic competition is fun, and you gain a lot of experiences. So there are so many robotic platforms that offers most both national and international competitions. And over the years, they have been able to build massive robotics community where robotic students, coaches, and mentors collaborate and compete favorably to gain more experiences in robotics. We have been able to successfully conduct students for these national and international competitions in the last 5 years before COVID-19. And it was fun. Student gets to meet other coaches and other students that are more experienced in robotics. They rub minds together, share experiences, and the most important thing is the fun. So we've actually done quite a lot of competitions that we conducted students outside Nigeria before COVID-19, and lately, you know, when COVID-19 came, everything was shut down, and of recent, we joined another robotic platform, which is Vex Robotics, and we competed virtually because worldwide the event has been virtual. So we competed, and we even we won a lot of trophy and stuffs like that. So I'm going to introduce Vex Robotics to you because is the most popular robotic platform so far. Vex Robotics happens to be the most flexible and popular robotics platforms platform in the world, with lots of opportunities for supports for schools who are ready to get involved in their robotics event. Vex Robotics is solely built for educational purpose with enormous free online resources to support your robotics education. We want you to begin your journey for robotic experience by getting involved in this robotics competition. The competition comes up next year, but preparation for the competition starts now. So the whole journey is not going to be interesting if you don't get involved in competitions, because that is where they get to meet people and learn new things, and they explore. It's just limitless. So with all these, I will say thank you for now. Maybe I will take questions later. I'm good at answering questions. Thank you very much.
Woo, wow. In fact, this has just been so rich. Thank you so much, David. Thank you for that. I was loving, hearing all the simplified ways that everything was sounding. The idea of competitions, for us, I think we should all take that into consideration. And the beauty of this whole session for me is that these are educators who are sharing from their own experience. They're not mising the knowledge. They're sharing, and they're willing to share with others. That's it's the beauty. The aim of this is that we also begin to change the narrative about Nigerian education. Imagine if many of our schools in Nigeria win these competitions. People won't be saying the kind of things they say about our Nigerian education. So these things are really awesome. Okay, so I'm seeing some hands up and I'm seeing some questions. Enna's going to be handling the questions at the end part, if that's okay. So if you can be putting them in, and then she would take note of them. Everyone is going to be here to answer all our questions. So just keep them coming in the chat area so that we don't lose the flow, if that is okay. Thank you so much to our speakers so far. It's been really exciting. As I was saying, I love hearing the word, you can sign up for free and do that. I know many of us are happy to hear those kind of things. So that is really exciting. Okay, so we have our fourth session. We're going to be taking very soon, our fourth session. Thank you to our past speakers. Pius, Emeka, let me know if you're in the house and what your name on Zoom is. And so and I'll be making you a co-host very soon. But this session we're looking at the effects of robotics education on students.
Emeka is my name.
Oh, you actually are the one, yes. So you are the person. Okay, good. So because I have a different name, so I will be bringing you up very soon. We're looking at the effects of robotics education on students. Okay. In the meantime, let me know how you're feeling. Just everyone in the chat area. Let's just see some happy emojis. If we're all in one room now, we'll all be eating maybe small chops. Having some puff and whatever it is. So let's just see some emojis in the chat area while I get ready and we get ready to welcome Coach Emeka. So just show some appreciation to the team who has spoken so far. Excellent, thank you. And I know we're all learning a lot. I know everyone just wants to hear how much. That's what most people want to hear. They want to hear that from the past speakers so far. I know you get the idea that it's not as crazy as we all imagine. You can start from where you are, okay? And then we also get to the point where we all start planning for competitions. So that's something we also want to support schools with, in conjunction with the Glisten Robotics Academy. And we also want to support as many schools as we can to also get them ready for these competitions too. So, so excellent. This is lovely. Thank you. Yeah, someone asked a question about early years. Please let's take that down also, Edo, so that we'll ask that question at the end, all right? So please join me and welcome Coach Emeka as he takes the next session, and then we have after him one more, and we dive right into questions, okay? So thank you. Over to you, Coach Emeka.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you. I'll be talking on the benefits of robotics on the children, and I'll be sharing the screen.
Okay, so I've made you a co-host, so you should be able to share the screen, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I'm currently doing that.
Okay.
Okay, my screen should be up right now.
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking at the effect of robotics in education. Before we start, I want us to see a little video. It's going to be for just 30 seconds. Then we'll continue. Oh, I'm meant to understand that you are not getting the audio from the video.
And no
Now,
audio,
the
but we
scene
can,
you can see.
yes.
Okay.
There's no audio in the video, but we can see what's going on, which is just as good. So you can walk us through or talk us through if you want, yeah.
Okay. Now what the video you just saw is a typical robotics classroom. There you see the student interacting with one another, sharing ideas, and trying to solve a particular problem at the time. So I'll just have a few slides. I'm going to take you on this benefit of robotics in education. So let's move here. Okay, when our mommy started the CE, Glisten International Academy, Samira Jibri, she was talking about how the world is changing. And actually, I captured something. I said, time is changing and technology advancing. And many areas of our lives have changed. Before now, as she has said, the COVID-19, how we started online classes, and we've not seen anything. And we are yet to see what technology can offer to education. Now, education should not be an exception, as what we teach, how we teach it, and how students learn has direct impact on the growth of and development of our immediate community and the world at large. Okay, we've seen this video clip. Now, the few benefits of robotics in education. Now, robotics is needed in education as it comes with countless advantages. I like telling story in my classes. There's a student that joined robotics class. I won't mention the name because of this recording. This child was timid, like he can't stand up with his mates. But after a few years with us in robotics, this child can speak anywhere with whosoever. The child is bold. Robotics has taught him what he couldn't learn in class. So these are just few examples of what robotics can do for us. Now, students will learn new skills, develop their knowledge. It helps students improve their intentions, their designs, communication skills, creativity, and teamwork skills. It brings students together to do something amazing and why. Now, here are the main benefits of robotics in education, among others. Well, we've discussed, we know about creativity. Now, the picture you see there to the left of the screen, this is when we started the robotics, the first robotics competition. On the table, you have children, our students, deliberating on the design of the robot for the competition. That is what creativity. Now, robotics is practical oriented. In other words, students can find out about the concept and bring it to life. Now, you see as if he's presenting to panels of judges. These are also the robotics students, now deliberating, sharing creativity. Now, this will allow students to interact, think, brainstorm on how to solve problems. And as they get involved in this learning process, their creativity soars. Now, teamwork. The field of robotics evolved Okay, I'm back, right? Okay. So I said it involves what? Bringing bright minds together. Now, as I also said, many robotics projects involve working with others in a team. And this is because various skills like programming, engineering, sensors, they all come together to make up a robot. And you can see from our students, this what you're seeing there is not just for pleasure, but this is actually what they are doing, what they did when they entered the best robotics competition. And this makes it crucial for students to collaborate to make their project a success. Now, besides they need to work hand in hand to have a valuable output, which is team spirit. The robotics will encourage teamwork and team spirit among students involved. And as mentioned, it also helps in their communication skills. As mentioned above, for students to succeed in robotics, they must work together. This means collaborating with various students and people of different disciplines. Here we need the means to communicate together. This involves interpreting circuit diagrams and other mumbo jumbos to each other. And this is how it works. I don't understand this. Mr. David understands this. I say, Mr. David, what is happening? I don't understand this diagram. How do we place this? Mr. David will say, oh, from my own understanding, I think this should be this way. Now, this is also encouraging collaboration. Also, when showcasing their creation to the world, they need to understand the best way to communicate their invention. The picture to my right, that picture was taken a long time ago when the student went for a competition somewhere in Hungary, and you can see them mixing with the crowd, interacting with other citizens of different nations, and because they understand the communication skills, they are very free with other individuals. Now, it brings about leadership and gender equality. You know, while I was growing up, I like telling stories, don't mind me. While I was growing up, my neighbor didn't train their children, our neighbors. He didn't train the female students to school because he knew that at teaching, so they don't need to waste money on training to school and making them to learn, even with a certificate and degree, they will still come back and end up in the kitchen. But with robotics, these students, they have the opportunity to work together, irrespective of their gender, and to bring out hello. Now, over the years, as
Yes, go on,
instructor, I've come to see that every student who had passed through, our robotics classes had experienced leadership in one level or the other, and can manage others. Now, every member of the team had a role to play. And last term, when I say last term, the best commission we just concluded, this student voted a female student as the team leader. You know, if it was then, you know that, how will a female want to become our team leader? Why will you allow this person to? But here we promote gender equality. Now, through this exercise of putting the robots together and making it move, students learn to communicate as team, express their ideas to craft the best result. The ability of students to come together as different types of leaders. Remember I said they all have individual roles to play in a team. Now for them to communicate these different roles makes them a leader and utilize their strength will be essential throughout these student lives. Now what the knowledge they've gotten from this section will never leave them we had one student, I think in 2015, he left for the US, and when he came back, sorry, he's still in the US, but now he's currently studying mechatronics because he had the foundation of robotics from Glisten International, and he's actually doing well in that field. I just spoke with a friend that said this particular student is now a graduate of mechatronics and will be coming back to Nigeria very soon. And when I was chatting with him, he said he's going to come back to Glisten to give us back what we have given to him. So you see that whatever they learn from here would not go, that they will not live their life, will also shape their life. Even as, hello. Hello.
Okay, go on. I've muted them. It's okay.
Now, so I said, okay. I said, no matter what they become in life, whether an artist, a business executive, an engineer, the knowledge we have impacted in them will always stay with them. Now, it helps to redefine strength and weakness among what students. Now, you can see the student in the picture. His name is Hamza Baba. He is a very good student, and his passion is about computer programming and the hardware. You can see him is holding an Arduino board. Arduino board in his hand. And from year 7, he identified his strength. You know, we have too many roles to play in robotics. He identified his strength at programming and dealing with Arduino board. So when he comes to the lab, just see him with trying to do one program or the other, trying to connect system, trying to make the robot move. That is passion. That is redefining what strength. Now, almost every student we get excited when they want to come to join this robotics. Now, when they immerse themselves in the field, they get to know their strong points and weakness as they proceed in this course and work with other students. It shows what they are good at and what they need to improve with. Now, this allows them to focus on their strengths and put the best in this project. Okay. Talk about community and responsibility. Now, teaching robotics in classroom can create a sense of community within the classroom and expand to the outside community. And expand to this is going to be my last slide. Expand to outside community. Now, students usually go out to present their robot at various robotics competitions, just as Mr. David has said. It also shows their product. So the students naturally will take ownership and pride of what is being presented. And through opportunities like this, students begin seeing robots as more than project builded, but rather than a tool to inspire others. In conclusion, robotics is an interdisciplinary field that integrates computer science, engineering. Robotics involves design, construction, operation, and the use of robots. And the goal of robotics is to design machines that can help and assist humans, that is we. And robotics integrates field of, as I've said, softwares, engineering, and mathematics, among others. Now, they are the many benefits for students in this area. There are many benefits of robotics for students in that area, and can open up the world of opportunity for those that are interested. So thank you. I'll be expecting questions.
Thank you, Emeka. Thank you, Coach Emeka. That was really, really hugely enlightening. I like the fact that, you spoke about the practical effects, with examples. And we actually enjoyed your stories because they brought it home. They made it very real to us. So some children who are not normally vocal, because of their experience, with teamwork and, getting things very practical, they're able to express themselves more. So I really learned a lot from that. Thank you very much for that session. And we're going to have our last session, and I'm going to be inviting our speaker, and then we have the chance for loads of questions. Even, I think personally, I have like 6 questions I want to ask after everyone has asked their own. So thank you very much. I love the flow of today's session too. So it's interdisciplinary. That's really a fresh way to look at it now. So how many of us have heard about things like drones? I see drones, we have the last ASNI, we had the exhibition, we had drones doing our video thing. We had some that even crashed into some of our stands, so it's all really exciting and all that. But I can imagine if we have those in our schools and the kind of impact. And good thing is that our last session, we're going to be having a session from someone who is an actual drone instructor. And we're looking at drone education and an engineering approach, drone education. It's something I've always been very fascinated with. And we actually have someone right here sharing their knowledge and experience with us. So please join me and make welcome our last speaker for today, Engineer Stephen Olu. We're looking at drone education. Stephen, are you in the house? So we hand over to you soon. Engineer Stephen.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, a bit low, but we can hear you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. MM. Yes, that's your name. Hi, everyone. My name is Steven, as you all have heard. I'll be talking about drone education, an engineering approach. We all know, like Hajia said earlier, how that we are beginning to having revolution in our industries and in technology. And recently, over the decades, we all know that technology are beginning to lead the way in terms of solving humans' problems. And according to what has been said, in the fourth revolution, industrial revolution, it is said that robots and technology will begin to take humans' job. And this is part of the things we are experiencing. And right now, it's not far from us. It's very, very close. The other day, I was discussing with a pilot from Nigerian Air Force, and we were talking about drones and autonomous vehicles. And she laid it out to me how that even the Nigerian presidential jets is an autonomous vehicle. And this, in a way, this is taking the jobs of pilots. So now, right now, airplanes do not really need a pilot to navigate them. They can do that all by themselves. They can take off all by themselves and then land by themselves. And what that tells you is that now, sooner or later, we won't have the need of passengers, pilots, or private pilots, because the machines can do that themselves. And now this brings a challenge to all of us and to every professional, because this is unique to the pilot, but there are also some softwares, like I've known of a software that can recruit candidates for a job and can as well do all the necessary assessments until it gets to the interview phase. Then the applicants can now see the management to take a job. Now that tells you that even the work of a HR gradually is beginning to fade away. And what am I saying in essence? It is it's all this is going to happen, and we all have to, work towards the changes that is happening in our environment. If not, a time will come we'll be obsolete, and there won't be need for humans to do most of the tasks. Now, the only people that will be relevant in the world, in the tomorrow job, in the tomorrow market, would be people that design and build these machines. It will be people that know how to operate this machine. Because if you know how to operate an autonomous airplane, then you'll be relevant, you'll be paid a huge amount of money, and you don't need to fly with the aircraft, and the aircraft goes and land by itself and return back to you because you know how to operate it. And now this brings us to a point where we need to begin to, inculcate some of these technologies into our curriculum, even here in Nigeria, because sometimes when I look at what is happening across our borders, it bothers me because it seems we are not doing much in that regard, because the world is changing, is evolving very, very rapidly. And we are not pushing hard into getting acquainted with what is happening over there. I'm happy for Glisten International. I think she's one of the frontiers in this in innovation and technology, and I really appreciate them for what they do, and I think they are in the front line in these aspects. I will encourage every other schools to also do likewise, because we need to build a generation where our children are competitive even in the international world. And yeah, because a time will come, if we don't produce our things, we keep buying things from outside the country, and of course, GDP will keep going down, and there's nothing we can do about it. So it's high time this technology, like Mr. David has said, the robotics are inculcated into our curriculum, so that students or pupils from scratch will get to have idea of all these things. And the exposure to me is very, very important. You have no idea of the spark in imagination that could create for students. So there is a need for schools to begin to look into adding drones and technology in their STEM educations. The importance can never be overemphasized. So looking at the engineering aspect of drone, building a drone, it's very, very tricky, because it encompasses a lot of spheres in science. How that one needs to be exposed to the principles that surround aerodynamics, and basic flight dynamics. So, and these are some of the principles of science that we teach students in the school. So building a drone exposes students to, practically applying some of these theories and laws they've learned in class, and seeing the impact of those things in their life. So because drones can be made into small miniature marvels, they are the perfect size and price to bring into our classroom, offering a lot of banks for educational bugs. They can quickly capture students' attention and spark their imagination, which is critical part of learning. Once they are hooked, once the students are hooked, they can use drones to exploit different aspects of STEM education. This includes elements of design and engineering, like some of the drones one can do. You probably have to design the structure, and to design the structure of a drone, you need to understand the aerodynamics behind a flying vehicle. So students will have to understand, and that is exposing them to practically applying some of the things they learn in class. Now, engineering modification to change the drone performance. Yeah, if you successfully design a drone, there's a high chances that you've understood the dynamics, and it's possible that you can, modify the performance of the drone to international standard, and of course, challenge the product in the market. Practical understanding and interaction with science principle. I've said that already, how that you can use drones to, understand practically what science principle has been stated in black and white. Real world problem solving. Drones have been in solving human problem for a very long time. And one of the problems that drones have seem to solve in our lifetime is the area of logistics. And it's quite impressive to know that a company called Zipline, which we thought was far from us, is currently right now in Nigeria using drones to, move things from a place to another. And yeah, we paid a huge amount of money. And cargoes fly from across borders, by themselves, just drones coming to the country to deliver stuff. So these are real life problems that drone can physically solve. The physics of flight, I talked about that, how that drone also exposes students to the physics of flight, the aerodynamics, and then programming. It's very, very important program, how that programming has changed our life. You know, it's very interesting how that you write some piece of words and then they turned out to solve a human problem, how that you write a piece of code and then something goes up and do something. It's very exciting. So drone technology also introduced students to programming. You can actually program a drone or configure it to do whatever you want it to do. If you want to do autonomous mission, there are so many software out there one can download, and they are free to all. And of course, drone softwares also come in as simulators, how that you can simulate live events of a drone, and you can see drone take off from your PC and then land, and then you can even use a transmitter to actually fly them handy. But of course, the transmitter will be handy, then the drone will be on your PC, and it's quite kind of exciting, and you have to understand the principle of dynamics and the principle behind drone building to be able to fly the drone even with the software, because some of the things you experience with the software in the simulator are similar to what you experience in real life. Then sports. Personally, this is what I really want to talk about, sport and competition. I'm looking at a time will come in our great country whereby there will be a lot of competitions, just like Mr. David has talked about in the areas of robotics. And I have a passion for raising, building things, and I believe we can all do this together as a system. How that one can compete, schools by schools can just you have kind of a drone competition, and at the national level, I'm already talking with some international partners how that we can have a school by school and interstate competition in the drone, and at the end of the day, one can easily partner with the international world and of course come with a prize. So that's another kind of benefit one can have that with a drone. Flying a drone is very exciting. The excitement comes very, very interesting, but then one will have to understand some little things. So if we have, say, Abuja schools competing with Lagos, Port Harcourt schools, and a school emerge as the winner, one can also take it up to the international world, and then the national winners can now compete at the national level. So it is something we can all work together, to make our country a great nation. The children, the younger generation needs to understand that all these things are possible. These things they buy from outside the country, they're actually possible. We can do that here. One doesn't necessarily need to, do everything by themselves. One can actually be trained. And personally, I have trained a lot of students to win some drone competition already. And I'm willing to also do more for several that is actually interested. Now, and then, yeah, so even with inter-school competition, drones can also be used as for inter-school competition, how the student can compete, racing, and the environment will be designed in a way that it's fun, and the student could always compete, and then, like, so, and some of the professions in drone offer the students, in the long run, anyone that studied mechatronics could also, be in the land of drone engineering, which is what we are doing here, as you can see from the background there. So, and aerospace engineering, these are some of the things that if you understand the aerodynamics of drone, studying such courses will not be, and early exposures to children to all this technology, give them the enabling environment and the boldness to actually see that it is actually possible to, go out there and then do these things. Because some of the issues we have in our country is the fact that people have not really accepted the fact that we can do these things. We can do these things. Yeah. I work with a company that sells drone parts, and there are a lot of companies in Nigeria that sell drone parts. Recently, someone contacted me how that they sell drone part from scratch to finish, and it's interesting. And I was shocked to see that people actually interested in. Oh, noise in the background.
Yes, okay, I've muted the person.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. So yeah, we can actually get those parts in the country, and I do sell virtually all the parts that you need. So in conclusion, competition in schools is very, very high, and parents are always looking for the best schools to enroll their children. And I think incorporating or inculcating drone curriculum in our STEM education will actually give schools an edge over other schools. And this is something we can do with ease. It's not that expensive. The only part that makes drone technology very expensive is when you want to do the manufacturing and then they train. That's where. But if you have good and intelligent teachers, a training of a week training should get them up and standing for and they basically would know how to build drones themselves. Of course, transfer the knowledge with the STEM education department. Thank you so much for your audience. I really appreciate, and I hope to get more questions from them. I want to give my candid answer. Thank you so much.
Yay, thank you so much. The drone engineer. I'm listening to you and I'm like, so you guys want to be flying our airlines now and taking all the jobs from regular humans, so that's always something I think about a lot, the future of work. What does that mean for us? What does that mean for people? Are we all supposed to be running to technology? Are we all supposed to have, what level of technology experience or skills do we all have to have? So those are some of the questions I have at the back of my mind, So thank you so much, Engineer Stephen. I like the fact also that you had drones, in the background for there, and you also made something quite usually complicated. You made it very simple too. So thank you. So that was our last speaker, and we're going to get ready for questions. I'm going to be handing over to Eno very soon. She'll be taking the question aspects, reading out the questions, and then I would probably come back at the end to do just a vote of thanks. And as we said, we're recording this. We hope to have this available for you all. But before Eno comes up, many of us have asked us, we're looking at having something really huge, either end of October, November, and we're looking at a themed robotics/AI festival. We would likely have this in the city of Abuja, and if we're able to partner with any other places, we can do 2 or 3 locations. And so it's going to be practical with these real life people. You get to touch and feel the stuff and, ask those practical questions. So it's something I'm going to be working on in the background with the team from the Glisten Robotics Academy, and we have about 4 or 5 companies who are very strong AI companies. So that's something to look out for. We'll keep you updated on that. And that's something we have been talking about. So we're still building up the plans, but know that you've heard it from us. So be one of the first to know about that. So look forward to either end of October/November. We will be working on that, and you would have the chance to experience it. So it should be something quite big and practical. We won't know the costing yet, but we're usually anything you get, you're getting value. And we want to make sure you have a lot of resources also at that. So, so that's going to be really exciting. So thank you to our amazing speakers. And thank God we had Ajay Samira also speak, unless it would be like it's a whole male-dominated field. As one of the speakers spoke about gender equality, I think. I think Emeka also. So I would hand over to Eno so that she could read out any of the questions, just put together the questions. So questions that are done, you can all keep them coming. If you want to speak up, if you feel you want your voice to be heard and you want to read out your question instead, just make sure your hand goes up. So I think what it would do, just remember, we'll get everyone's contact details and then we can compile them. And when we're sending the email, we can now have the people's names and their contact details. Maybe that's what we would do. So when we're sending you the email with
can I say something, please?
Yes, please. Yes, ma'am.
Madam MM,
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone. It's quite been a lovely day. For us, like we stated from the onset, we are busy with our school too. All we are doing here is to ensure that we share the best practices. But because SRC is a training ground and hold educational programs like this, we will expect everything to go back to SCR, SRC. So whatever questions, whatever inquiries should go back to you so that it is structured, that we don't have people just from different angles getting at us while we are at the center of what we are doing.
Yes, okay.
Again, from today, that was why we requested that management staff, IT instructor, or anybody that is technically inclined should be here. Management or school owners to be here so that they can take informed decision. This is a free thing, like an eye opener. But from after this particular one, we expect anybody that wants to be part of it to register with SRC. And it is then we continue to go on with the details, with the recordings, with the informations and everything. So this is just an outlook for you. If you are not interested, you get involved with SRC team, and they will let you know what it involves. And we can take questions.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ma. So we'll put that information when we're sending you the information I'm recording. Any slides that are going to be shared, we'll also add them with the email when it's sent to you. Also, okay. Thank you. I can see Sia's hand up, Tottenham's hand, but let me just be sure that Eno is here, ready to take the questions, and then she will lead this session. So Eno, you here?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon, Ma.
All right, over to you. Good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much to all the presenters. You actually did a fantastic job presenting the different topics. Thank you so much. I'm going to take the questions very quickly because we're running out of time. We're going to be ending by 2. Some questions have already been answered, but I'm going to take them again just in case we need to revisit them. So I'll start with the last one I'm seeing here. How can we contact the drone guy? Can robotics and drone education be done virtually? I think that the first aspect of the question has been answered. All questions come to SRC. We'll leave our contact with you in the email that we'll be sending to you. So let's take the second question. Can robotics and drone education be done virtually? Any of the presenters can answer the question.
Yes, it can be done virtually, but prefer it because the MyRobot actually came up virtually. But eventually, because it's their hands-on thing, it is preferable that it is done physically. And I'd like to answer somebody that said with the, what do you call it, the space in the learning programs of the schools, can you actually put the robotics in the curriculum? That will come up when we are teaching the real coaching. We have to coach whoever is interested, how they can do that, because it takes a lot. Like Engineer Abba has said, and David has mentioned, especially in the secondary, the spaces for these things are very difficult. And it's one of the issues that are very demanding. So it is part of the demanding demands of this that we'll have to take up with those that we sign up with SRS and SRC. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to go on. What's the estimated cost for the robotic program? Someone asked the question. What's the estimated cost? Who wants to take that question?
I don't think there is estimated costs. Like David had mentioned, and the engineer Abba, you could see some of the things that they have mentioned. But when you sign on for the real training, because we don't just want people to come and then leave, so that when you sign on for the real training, you will know the details. And then, like David had mentioned, most of these things will be sent to you, and then you know how to actually get them easily, affordably, and seamlessly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
Can
We have
I
some other.
quickly respond to that?
Okay,
Yes.
okay, you can go on.
Okay, if you don't mind, it depends on which robotic kits. So they're basically online. If you have your shippers details, and you have to do with the logistics of handling all these things, but it's pretty much out there online. Whether it's Lego Robotics, Vex Robotics, and other type of other robotics there, you can easily contact them directly. But what Hajia was trying to say, what Hajia Samira was trying to say was, it's a lot easier because, okay, these people really know, okay, that we procure some of these things, and it's quite easier for us to negotiate and get sometimes better deals than individually. So if we come together, I think if we know how many with SRC, we'll be able to get better deals, because if we're getting them in their number. So it depends. So there's no particular fee that you say. So it depends, and the kits are there are quite a number of kits out there. So you wouldn't say you can start from $1,000 to $50,000. It depends on what you want to get, the scope you want to go with. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that response. So every question regarding training, how can we contact the, would there be in-person training? How would we be trained for specific tasks? Any question regarding training have already been answered, because SRC will schedule a training and will let everyone know, and then you sign up for that, and then we'll continue with the trainings from there. So I won't be taking up any questions that's linked to training. All right, a question here is, can Android tablets be used? Can Android tablets be used? Someone asked the question. Maybe you can just answer that quickly, a yes or no, or.
David or
Hello?
Emeka.
Can you all hear me?
Over to you, David. Please, quickly.
Yes, it's possible.
Yes, we
It's
can.
100%
thank you.
possible. Android tablets can be
Yes.
used.
Used for
Thank
what
you
in
so-
particular?
All right.
It's the question.
Well,
is
I'm
not
sure it's when you're
coding and
making your
programming.
Abba
present.
is,
Hello,
I think what, yeah,
can you hear me?
yes.
Okay, when you were speaking, you mentioned that laptops and I think computers, I think those were the things that you mentioned. So I just wanted to find out, are those the only devices that can be used, or can tablets also be used for the robotics?
Yes.
That's my question.
Okay, yes. Any device, even Android, Windows, you can use them to program robots and so on. So it's possible that you can use Android tablets. Have I answered
All
your
right,
question?
thank you. Abiola, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Next question is, what of microbytes? Are they very useful? What of microbytes? Are they very useful?
Can I take that?
Yes,
Can
please.
I answer that question?
Yes,
yes,
please.
They are very useful. They are part of robotics.
All right. Someone asks, I hope the hardware kits are available in the Nigerian market. Are the hardware kits available in the Nigerian market?
Well, some of them are available. Some of them are available, but majority you get them from abroad. That's the simple truth. We don't know of any players that are already in the market, Nigerian market that much. But majority of what we get directly from abroad. That's a simple truth.
All right.
But,
Thank you. That was
with
plain and
forums like
simple.
this, I think we can come up with.
Thank you so much. That was a straight answer, plain and simple. Next question is there a way to incorporate this in early years? Is it possible to incorporate robotics in early years?
I think when I saw that question, I laughed. Early years, depending on the years, but you know, their level when it comes to handling the technicality cannot, honestly speaking, I will not suggest it. But the best thing to do is to have activity-based, like the STEM learning period or what activity for 1 week. And there are things at their own level. So if you join the same team, as trainings are going on, the curriculum geared towards the early years will also be shared with you. And thanks once more. I recall you coming to my office the other time, looking so cool as usual. Thank you.
Can I add also to early years, just like she rightly mentioned, depends, not all, but I think Lego, if I'm not mistaken, came up with something to do with Mr. David. Did you remember whether it's First Step Lego? I think I can't really remember, but I think they have an early years program.
Yes, I'm with you,
robotics.
sir.
So yes, there are some robotic kits that you could use. Mickey, I think there are some aspect of the micro bits with the fruit. I think I've seen something like that.
I think the WeDo 2.0 too.
You have the fruit in the Mickey thing. All those are still like hands-on for them at that level.
Okay.
So
it looks like there's
all research we are learning. It's a learning curve for all of us.
Thank you so much, Ma. The early years community will be so excited to have something robotics related that's available for them. So we'll be looking forward to that after your research. Thank you so much. Someone asked, do you sell drone parts?
Probably for Mr. Olu, I guess. Mr. Olu.
Mr. Olu, yeah.
Steven.
Do you sell drone parts?
Still here? Steven?
Yeah, I'm here, mommy. Yeah, sure. You can get drone part. Yeah, I sell drone part, but personally, I would prefer if anyone wants to contact me, the person has to go to Glisten International Academy, so we can have a more recognized system here. Thank you.
No, they'll go through SRC.
SRC.
Yes, and then come to us. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma. Okay, the next question is, does the robotics software run on Chrome OS devices?
Hello?
Does the robotics software run on Chrome OS devices?
Yeah, but preferably we want Windows and Androids, basically.
Okay.
It's more effective on Windows and Android.
Okay.
I'm in a meeting.
All right. All right, thank you. Someone asked, can we have a list of the platforms mentioned or the ones for the competition? Hello? Can we have, someone asked if they can have a list of the platforms mentioned?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, yes.
Let it go back to you.
To SRC.
We'll give it to them.
Okay. All right, so we'll do that. With the limited time we have to teach, how do we teach robotics?
They want your contact though.
Sorry, Ma?
Okay.
They want your contact.
Yes,
Okay,
people
we're
are
going
asking
to
for our
share that.
contact. Yes, we'll share it. As long as you're registered on this, that means we'll have your email address. And as long as you're registered for this webinar, that means you had to sign up. So we have your contact. We'll send you all the details. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ma. Someone asked a question. With the limited time we have to teach, how do we bring in robotics into our school's curriculum?
Can I go for this?
Yes, please.
Because it's actually a challenge for us, especially at the secondary, teaching robotics and using the maker space. But what we've been able to do is changing the mindset. If we focus more on passing examinations, we will never achieve anything. And so the essence of learning will be defeated as far as we're concerned. So as a school, we have the philosophy, we have the notion of let learning be for life. Let learning be something that would be beneficial. You know, after school, we've had students that have immediately after school, they've already started business. I think we have more than 50 students already that have immediately from Glisten, they've already started doing 1 or 2 businesses, being entrepreneurs and gearing up. So as much as possible, I think we need to really refocus our mindsets. Time is something that passes within with our busy academics. We need to consciously look at these spaces and consider what can be done in these spaces. And changing not the normal, because if we go back to the normal ways, the traditional ways of running our schools, you would never have time for any robotics and you would never be able to make any meaningful change. So we've had to try various other things, even as directors or top management of the school. We've had to go through rigorous and thorough evaluations and implementations, you know. Some we got wrong, some we're getting correctly. But to tell you, especially at the secondary, at the primary level, it's quite easy. You can easily sort in a time and they can get going. But for the secondary, I think you need to cautiously look at the timing, create this timing, a time, whether if you want to use weekends or after school, you want to make it an after school program, or you want to embed it in the school timetable as we did, which is we're gradually getting there. And I think that's making more meaning because we want it we want everyone that is passing through our school to have a bit of what all this is about, either the maker space, the robotics, AI, and whatever. So you have to really find time. There's no running into this without consciously looking at these spaces. You have to look at the spaces, that's like I mentioned.
Yes. Thank you, Engineer Abba. If the person that asked that question
create this time.
Okay. Thank you so much, Engineer Abba. Thank you for responding to the question. Ma, you were trying to say something.
Yes, I was trying to say, if the person that asked this question was here, when I made my presentation, the essence of education is for life and living. And what is life demanding from all of us as educators? And that is why, whether we like it or not, we have to find a way of placing these things and teaching these things in our school. And that is where because this is not, we can't get everything on this platform or this meeting. That is why we need other trainings, real rigorous trainings to come up that will enhance, will help you know how to go about it. And we share our own experiences, like you have said. We have gotten it wrong in some places, gotten it right, and trying to get it right again. So I think that should be it. But just have the vision.
Thank you so much, Ma. We're going to take a question from Tosland School. Your hand has been raised. You can unmute yourself and speak. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Really appreciate we having this training. Thank you, Mommy, Madam Severa Jibre. This is Mr. Marshall Jacob from Tosland School. I'm the IT coordinator of Tosland School. The problem I'm having is that the question has been answered partially, the one I had. I'm talking about Chromebook, Chrome OS devices, because that device is a secure device for education. And we'll be having issue having a very good software for robotic or coding. So I really want whether we can be able to develop, whether the market space, I don't know what that's called, can really to develop that, because it really helps us to work with this program. Already we have in place Chromebook already. We have a lot of them, so we can easily switch back to Windows. All our students are having Chromebook. So we really want to know whether we can have the software on our Chromebook, or if it can be developed so that we can be able to fuse into this program, because it's a welcoming development. That's just my question.
Hello, can I still take this? Can I answer this question?
Yes, please.
Okay, you see, the Chromebook you're talking about is actually web-based. So whatever you are doing, whatever application you are using on the Chromebook is going to be web-based, and that's going to cost you a lot of data. Because most of the softwares that will be installing on those systems, they are not web-based and they are lifetime. So you can work on the system without you having internet. Do whatever you want to do. You understand? You see, you are saving a lot of money. But if you are using those systems, they are web-based. So that means you can access those applications online. And once your internet goes off, it simply means that you are cut off completely. So that's just the stuff. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yeah, I'm okay. Since you can work perfectly.
Yes,
thank you.
But Mr. David, if I can add, I'm sure there are a lot of, I know that there are supports for a lot of these robotics companies. They have supports for this Chromebooks. So okay. It's just that it's internet based, online based. That's just what, and I think there should be a way out. So we'll look into it together and get back to you.
Okay, I think that's fine. We'll do more research on that and get back to.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. There's somebody's asking that he or she resides in Calabar. If we're going to consider that when we're planning the training, if there's going to be a virtual session or if you have to travel over. So, but someone is concerned that they live outside of Abuja, how can they access the training? We'll give you that, we'll put that into consideration and communicate that with you once the training plan is set. Okay, how can we get the link to get started for the free simulators before the real tools? Someone is asking that, can they get links to the free simulators before they get the real tools? I think, does someone want to answer that, or? Hello? How can we get the link
David,
to get
I think you should
started with the
answer that.
free simulators?
No, Mr. Emeka.
We said like this type, they should send all questions. Okay. Please, they should send all their needs and requirements to SRC. Because if we start answering, we will not be coordinated. Whatever is needed, they should let you know, and then you get the information from us and you send it back to them.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ma. I think with that, we've exhausted all questions that came on the chat room, and we've taken one question with someone who had their hand raised up. So I'll hand over to Mr. Pashi now.
Thank you, Eno. And thank you to the amazing team from the Glisten Robotics Academy. I've already given you that name, even though that's not a name you have you have introduced yourself with.
Yes, I was wondering.
Yeah, I'm registering the name for you, even if you don't do it yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Also, so I want to say a huge thank you. The value has been immense. You know, I'm running through so many things in my head. I'm like, I wish I can get even one of my kids to do something in robotics. They're not interested, and I have no idea, you know. So I'm going to actually make them watch this recording when we're done. It's been huge value. As I said to everyone out there, this has been a taster. And I know it's been very enriching. You're going to get the recording. We're going to be kind enough and just send you the recording for free, really. Anyone who has who was not here or who missed it, we would probably have it would have the link and would create it in a way that people could actually just purchase it so that they value it a bit more. So we look forward to putting out information very soon on our calendar. We would discuss with the Glisten Academy, the Robotics Academy, and then we'll decide when, either end of October or first week in November, when we're going to have our the Robotics and AI Festival. So it's going to be something really practical and interesting. So we've seen people join in all the way from Mina. People have joined in from
Lagos,
from Calabar.
yeah.
I saw someone also from I've seen someone from Kaduna also, and
Jigawa.
Look at that, Jigawa, excellent. So that's the beauty of technology. Yeah. So someone is asking about that. Yes, I think schools, please stop. We should get to the point where when we understand that we're giving value. So stop thinking about things and only about the money. I've seen schools in local communities that their fees are ridiculous. But when we said we want to take people abroad, these parents found the money because they see value in that. Okay, so if you're doing for this kind of things, when you want to present them to the parents, you make it very strategic. You let them see the value, how it can change their life. Someone spoke about the effect of the robotics on students, you know. So you can make sure you do your research and you can sell it in a way that it sounds like if they don't do this thing, their lives are not going to be the same. All right. So yes, you should charge students. You're not there to give value at no value to yourself also. We have someone even from Ogun State. This is like a whole global thing. I mean, you don't want to even know where I am. I arrived where I am. I arrived and my eyes are still closing. So I'm grateful that I'm actually awake and I've actually had only 3 hours of sleep. And at another time zone. Yeah, so what we're all from, this is a very global, whole international, beautiful thing that we're doing. So I want to say a huge thank you once again. We're going to stop the recording very soon, and just give us a day or two. You would get the recording so that you won't be sending us messages and saying, "Where's our recording? Where's our recording?" You'll get the recording. We'll send it to you. Once I've done this now and it's processed, I would send it to the team and we'll edit it so that it's a bit lighter for you, so it's not too heavy for you to download, and we would send it to you. I would try and get as many links and information from the Glisten Robotics Academy, and we would add that to the email we're sending to you, okay? So the interaction has been amazing. It's so great to have so many of you. People actually, you registered and you came. You know, many times people register and they don't all come for the session. So having you all here, stay and learn and ask these beautiful questions, it shows that you are you're very engaged. Okay, sorry if you can't hear. I think others can hear me. Okay, so yes, you get the recording. Look out for that. We will also share more with you about the SRC. We have something called the SRC Premium Access Bundle, and if you're actually registered on the Premium Access Bundle, you actually get all the trainings in the year. You have direct free access to all our training programs for the whole year, and the ones that you miss physically, you can also get the resources or the slides. So that's something that will be going out in the next, maybe in the next week or so, maybe over the weekend or on Monday. You'd also get information on the SRC Premium Access Bundle. So if you register for that, you're automatically registered even for the robotics conference also, okay? So there's a lot of value, as we keep saying. So thank you. Let me stop here so that we don't take your time. You've all been amazing. We've actually kept to time relatively. We started about 10-ish minutes or so later so that we can give time for more people to join. I want to say a huge thank you. God bless you.
Thank
Abba,
you.
just amazing. David, everyone's so practical. Stephen and Mecca. I'm like, honestly, I'm thinking of, my head is just thinking drones, you know, and all sorts of things now. So it's been huge value. You let me know also if you want to share the slides, if that's something you want to do. And for those of you asking for certificates, no, you're not getting certificates because this is a taster course. When you come for the conference,
yes.
When you come for the conference, you
we love no certificates.
I know, I'm not sure why. Yes. So when you come for the conference, that will be part of what when you come for the tech and robotics conference, that'll be part of what it is that we're doing. So we really appreciate you all in the middle of your holiday taking out time for this. Thank you once again, and have a lovely, lovely, lovely rest of the weekend, and keep in touch with us. Adesimir, God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye. God bless
you. Thank you.